Hello everyone, how's it going? It's Isaac here and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be making some Hong Kong style egg tarts. These were my favourite growing up in Hong Kong. They're simple and delicious, so let's get started. We'll start by making the shortcrust pastry, and to do that take some butter, soften at room temperature and cream it together with some sugar. Now I've used an electric whisk here to save my arms some pain, but feel free to do it by hand. Just make sure you beat it until it's nice and pale. Next, sieve some flour into the mixture and start mixing together with a spatula. Make sure you do it gently because you don't want the flour to go everywhere. Once it starts to clump together like this, you can start to use your hand to bring it together. Don't worry, it will be a bit dry and crumbly at the beginning, especially during winter times when the butter is not quite softened. But don't worry, keep on going and eventually it will come together as a dough. And to make sure you got it right, you should be able to wipe the bowl clean. Give it a couple of kneads to make sure it softens up, and then what we want to do is to fold it, wrap it in cling film and put it in the fridge for 15 minutes to rest. Whilst we wait for the dough to rest, we can make a start on the filling. And to do that, we take some warm water and dissolve some sugar into it. Now make sure you give it a good stir because we don't want any sugar clumps inside our filling. Let's not forget about eggs because we are making egg tarts after all. In the measuring jug, mix it with some evaporated milk. So a tip here is not to overmix or beat it too hard because we want the filling to be nice and smooth, and to avoid that we don't want excess air in the mixture. So whisk it very lightly and just enough for it to come together. To be extra smooth and extra sure, we'll just pass it through a sieve, just like this. Don't forget to preheat your oven to 175 degrees. And one final thing before we get to work on the dough again, and that is to grease and butter your tins. We don't want our tarts sticking to those tins. Next, we want to line the tins with the dough. We've actually got two options and two ways to do this, and I'm going to show you guys both. The first way is neater and tidier, but it's a little bit more difficult. Start by working the dough to soften it up a little bit more. If it's too hard, don't worry, just wait a few minutes for it to soften up. And then use a rolling pin to begin to roll it out evenly on all directions. The aim here is to get an even sheet of pastry between 5mm and 1cm thick. Once you have that, get a ring cutter slightly bigger than your tart tin and begin cutting out little circles, just like this. And that's really the most difficult bit. Next, get your tart tin and just drop your pastry into it just like this. And begin pushing with your thumb around and around until it's evenly spread out and all the way to the top. Now some people don't like working with rolling pins or pastries that much, so here's a second, easier way to do it. Instead of rolling it out, just get a big ball of dough and just press it into your tart tin. And same as before, using your thumb, trying to spread it around evenly until it's all the way to the top. Next, you'll want to fill it up with your egg filling, but the key here is not to fill it up all the way to the top. And the reason for that is, if any of it gets into the side, then it glues the tart to the tin, and trust me, you do not want that to happen. Bake in the oven at 175 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes, then lower the temperature to 160 degrees, and then bake it for another 10 minutes. Once they're out the oven, just give them a few minutes to cool down. The tart should contract and release from the mould, and because we buttered the moulds before, they should just slide right out. As you can see, these things are so cute and they're so easy to make. So all that's left for me to do now is to see how good they taste. So here we are, some Hong Kong styled egg tarts. These things are really popular in Hong Kong, and you can pretty much get them in most bakeries around the city. I remember having loads of these as a kid, and they were absolutely delicious. You can actually get two versions of these in Hong Kong. You can get them in puff pastries or shortcrust pastry. We've made the one with shortcrust today because it's just a little bit easier and it just makes filming a lot easier by myself. But if you guys would like to see a puff pastry one, let me know and I can work on that as well. But for now, let's get dug in. So yeah, the shortcrust pastry is really crumbly, which is really nice. You can really taste the rich butter in that. And yeah, it complements the filling really well. The custard filling is still a little bit runny because it's fresh out the oven, and that's, in my opinion, the best way to eat it. So if you do make these ahead of time, just put them back in the oven 2-3 minutes before you serve them, just to get that filling a little bit runny, and it will be absolutely delicious. Perhaps a little bit sweet for my liking in terms of the pastry, so next time I make it I'll probably take 5 grams off the sugar, because I think the filling's sweet enough as it is. The shortcrust pastry doesn't need to be that sweet. Not necessarily a bad thing, so adjust the recipe as you guys need it. And as usual, any questions, drop them down below. Full link to the recipe down below as well on my blog. And yeah, if you're new here, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.